What's going on, team? It's your coach Dylan here, and today we're gonna have a little chat. A chat about push-ups, specifically how to modify push-ups. Now, in this video, we're going to be assuming that you can already do what is considered a standard push-up for at least like 10 to 20 repetitions without stopping. So once you've already got that down, then we can get started. If you haven't, real quick, it's super simple. You're just gonna drop down to your knees or use an elevated surface with your hands propped up to work up that strength and get into that normal standard push-up position. All right, so once you've got that down and you've already worked into being able to do that standard push-up, here's where things get interesting. Now, there are basically three main ways to modify a push-up, and that is with the distance of your hands, elevation, either your feet or your hands, or tempo. And tempo is kind of a two-part deal with either the speed of which that you do that push-up or also manipulating the tempo with a pause. So first set of these modifications that we're going to talk about is the distance of your hands. Now you can either walk your hands out further wide or more narrow than your standard hand position, which as we all know is basically right under your shoulders or slightly outside of your shoulder width. So from that position, again, you can either walk your hands a little bit further out wide to challenge yourself that way, or more narrow. It's going to be a little more tricep dominant for the narrow variations, so be conscious of that. But those are two really good ways with just your hands to manipulate, again, the distance of which you're doing that push-up. So modification set number 2 is going to be the elevation. Now, elevation can either be with your feet elevated or your hands elevated or your hands lowered or your feet lowered, depending on what type of equipment you have around or things that you can use. Some of these things are like chairs, couches, tables, even stairs are really good, especially if you're trying to do some of the decline variations. And that's basically it. What you're trying to replicate is an incline push-up or a decline push-up to, again, change up that difficulty or modification depending on what you're trying to do. Set number 3 of these modifications is going to be the tempo. So the tempo here, again, there's kind of two parts to this. So the first is going to be changing up how fast you do the exercise itself. For instance, incorporating a 4-second count on the way down or a 4-second count on the way up or both. The second part of this tempo is to change up the momentum with a pause. So you're incorporating a pause, just like I said, to take out the momentum of the push-up. You can either pause at the middle of the push-up, all the way at the bottom, or as you come up that middle portion as well, or all of these combined. The cool part about all of these modifications is there's really no end or limit to how many you can add. It can get a little crazy, so let your imagination run wild. Feel free, if you come up with any crazy modifications or crazy combinations of these modifications, drop it down in the comments, let me know. I will be sure to try them out and review them for your guys' viewing pleasure. And to do a quick little wrap up, there are 3 main ways to modify your push-ups with the distance of your hands, out wide or narrow, with the elevation or a raised surface, using your feet or your hands or both. Again, come up with some crazy stuff. And number 3 is going to be the tempo of these push-ups, changing not only the speed at which you do the push-up, I say again like a 4-second count, or incorporating a pause. Those pause, again, oh by the way, should be about 1 to 2 seconds in any of those positions. Without further ado, that's how you change up a push-up. If you have any questions or concerns or any other modifications or exercises that you want me to go over, feel free to drop it down in the comments. But like, subscribe, follow along, do all of those things, ring the notification bell, and I'll be coming at you guys with some more fitness tips. This is Coach Dylan. Stay fit.